Hello. Welcome to week 2 of the Cycle Sync Reset. This week we are talking about the follicular phase. Make sure my microphone is nice and close to me. All right, ladies, here we go. So we last week we talked about the menstrual cycle. We're going to kind of do a little recap of that. We are going to look over our meal plan for this week, recipes that we have, movement plan, and energy management. Because coming into this new phase, hopefully our energy is coming up and we're feeling good. And if we're not, that's a sign. So remember, we're always trying to read our symptoms and our signs from our body to see what's going on. Also, notice the new hat. Do you like my new hat? Yep, we got some swag in. So if you are interested in getting one of these hats, ask me in the chat and we'll figure that out. We'll get you one. All right. So remember to do your weekly check-in. So I want to see your photos and I want to see your wins and I want to see your struggles. So put those in the group chat so that we can support each other. This is a collaborative effort. And the more that you reflect on what's going on with you, what you're learning, what you're struggling with, the better the outcome will be for you, the more you will take away from this. So it's not what's taught, it's what's caught. So remember to always put it in the chat and reflect on things that are going well for you. This is one of my clients that went through the program and we also did cycle syncing with her. And we're going to talk about something this week. This is your bonus is the seeds and the nuts cycling that you can do with your hormones and everything to make sure that we are replenishing the body with those micronutrients that we really need. Seeds and nuts are excellent sources of micronutrients as well as healthy fats and fiber and a little bit of protein too. So they're really great sources of that. And you only need like 1 to 2 tablespoons a day. It doesn't take very much. So it's a nice little way to add a little bit in and it goes a long way. We did something similar like that with this client here. She came to me on the left there. She had neck pain, really bad shoulder pain. And just she felt weak and she's kind of smaller gal. You can kind of see she's kind of small. And she didn't like feeling that way. And this right here, she had just run, I think it was a full marathon. Was it a full marathon? She had just run a full marathon. That's what her body looked like after running a full marathon. You think running is going to get you there? No, it is not. So I was like, cool, you did your marathon off the bucket list. I love that. Actually, it was a half marathon. I take that back. She did a full marathon later, but after we got her healthier and she was better able to tolerate it. She had like pain in her knees and her ankles and everywhere, just like head to toe, just hurt. She was working a desk job. She wasn't moving very much. And then she went straight into running, which is great. It got her active, but we were still lacking some things. So that's when she came to me and she wanted to do something more. Notice the difference in the flooring as well. They turned their bottom basement into the gym, which was so great. Her and her husband did the program together, and they did so well. And you can see here, not only did she lose belly fat, but her posture, look at that. Like her knees are locked out here. Here you can see more muscle definition in her legs than when she was running. And her posture is just so much better. She's got more muscle definition coming in on her arms. And this was only 12 weeks. This was her 12-week transformation, and she continued onward. So imagine what you can do. If you can do this in 12 weeks, imagine what you can do in 12 months, right? It's really dramatic. And then years of continuing to work on yourself. Because as women, we just don't build muscle like that. Like we got what's called newbie gains. She definitely had some good newbie gains. And then it gets harder to build that muscle, especially as we get older. So it's just, and we're playing the long game, girls. Here we go. So her pain was greatly diminished. It wasn't completely gone because pain, musculoskeletal pain, and I know I'm kind of going off on a tangent here, but I can do that because it's mine. It's my life. So musculoskeletal pain can be very complex. And that's not to say that it's not somehow originating, it's absolutely manifesting physically, but at times there can be an underlying psychological thing that's going on that's not being addressed. And we all have our weak areas. And as I'm talking about this, I'm also thinking about how my left knee is acting up again. And guess what? I've been stressed out this week, guys. I've been tired. And last week I wasn't sleeping very well. So it's a thing. So we all struggle with it, but having the tools in our toolbox to help bring us back and realize what's going on with us. And that's what we're here to do. But having a chronic nagging injury that just doesn't seem to go away, it's amazing how it's tied to stress. It's tied to something that we're holding on to. And so there it needs to be a holistic collaborative approach. If you are having some recurring pain, address that pain. Physical therapy, yes. Working on stretching and mobility and strengthening and deep tissue massage, all those things, super important. But also what is going on in your energy management and your stress in your life because it's all tied together. So when we address these things, we all of a sudden are able to heal things that we thought were never going to go away. And that's what she did. So she got stronger, she got healthier, and sometimes you start with where you're at. So I have people even in this program who needed to start with one aspect of their health first. Maybe it was their mental well-being and their mindset. They needed to address that first because they were suffering from extreme burnout. They needed to focus on that because doing anything else, working on the diet, exercise, or any of that felt way too overwhelming, too hard, can't do it. They're already dealing with enough and valid, absolutely. So you deal with what you can deal with right now, and then we start peeling back the layers. And it is a process. So be kind to yourself, be gentle with yourself in this process too of learning about your cycle and how it works and how everything can affect it, but that should be empowering because you can now pinpoint those things that are affecting your body and how you're feeling and how you're reacting, how your hormones are reacting to everything that's coming in, and you can turn the ship. Okay. You do have the rudder, whether you feel like you do or not, you do. So she was able to use that first, get her diet under control, get stronger in the gym, build that muscle, and she felt better in her body. And then she was able to recognize that, hmm, now I have some underlying trauma from some serious things that happened to her. Big T happened. And then she was able to then dive into that work with a qualified therapist. So whichever path that you need to go down right now, where you are is perfect, and where you're going is where you're supposed to go. So however you get there is your path, girl. So it will take the time that it's meant to take, and you just need to allow it and allow yourself to go through that process. Okay. So, here to support you, here to love you. And if you ever need help with anything, never hesitate to reach out. I am not the be all end all. I can't do everything for you, but I sure as heck can point you in the right direction. I'll do my best. All right. So, remember to celebrate your wins. Encourage post photos of meals, movement, self care in the group chat. Please do share your little self care things. And self care can be as simple as I drank my water today because that was my thing last week. I was so stressed out, and even my therapist, because I talk to somebody once a week because I got a lot going on, girls. And if I don't take care of my well being and my mental well being, I can't take care of anybody else. So I am doing that. And that was like one of her one thing. She was like, "What can you do for yourself?" And I was like, "I can drink water. I'm at that level. I just need to drink water. I haven't been drinking water." It is the small little things that you do to take care of yourself every day that makes such a huge difference, and it's telling your subconscious that you are a priority, you are important, you are cared for, you are loved, and if you don't care and love for yourself, girl, nobody else can do that for you. Not the same. Okay? We have the water bottles now too. If you guys are interested in one of these, sometimes I give them away, and I'm actually gonna start a point system for you guys, and we're gonna have a giveaway at the end of the 12 weeks as well, so stay tuned. I got swag, girls. Okay, reviewing the menstrual cycle. Remember, we're going to get familiar with this. The only thing, no, I was looking at this yesterday. I was putting this together, and I was a little disappointed because we don't have testosterone on here. I need to find a new chart, girls, that has testosterone on here because we're going to talk about that today. So we talked last week about the menstrual cycle, roughly days 1 through 6-ish, depending on how long your menstrual cycle lasts. There's a range of normal. So this is a very generic chart. I apologize for that. If you do not fit this generic chart, it doesn't mean that you're abnormal. You're within the range of normal. So, and if you ever have any questions about, is this normal? Ask me. That's what I'm here for. Okay. So remember menstrual phase, inner winter, time of rest, release, reflection, taking extra downtime to recover during this time if you need it. If you don't feel like you don't need it, if you're feeling really good, cool. go with it. This is what this is all about, is listening to your body and making sure that we're honoring how we're feeling and giving ourselves that extra rest when we need it. Typically, we need extra rest during this time period because if you look at what your hormones are doing up here, the estrogen in this purple, the progesterone in the green right here, everything is like at the lowest point during this time, but it is starting to rise. So usually towards the end of, like days 1, 2, 3 might be a little rough, and then days 4, 5, even into 6, depending on how long your menstruation lasts, there, estrogen is starting to rise. So you're starting to feel better. She helps us there. And remember, body isn't broken, it's cycling, it's normal, and men don't get it. It's fine. Although, oh my gosh, I gotta tell you something. It was so funny coming out of the house this morning. I was talking to my husband about, how we're like push, 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 and we're like getting all this stuff done. We're working on the she shed. We're opening up the the ranch, the garden and the irrigation and everything, getting everything up and running, and it's always a lot. So every weekend is super busy. And we're also talking about we need to schedule in some downtime. And I was like, you know what? That's exactly what we're gonna do. I am gonna make sure that towards that last part, I'm scheduling in that downtime. And he goes, your luteal phase, right? And I was like, I am so proud that you know the name of my cycle of that luteal phase. It was so funny. So he hears me talk about it a lot. But it's actually really helpful. So if you're kind of weird about that, like you're like, I don't want to talk to my significant other, I've found for the most part that they want to support you. They really do. So whoever your significant other is, they do want to support you. And the men are harder because they don't have the parts. They don't get it. Like they don't go through it. They just see you suffering and they're like, I don't know what to do, and they want to fix things. So having them understand more of what's going on with you, it actually helps them too to support you so they understand like, oh, and they can also start recognizing like, oh, she's in her follicular phase. She's like all like happy and bubbly and then towards the end they're like, oh yeah, she's in her luteal phase. She needs more quiet, she needs more recovery, she needs more downtime, she needs more love, whatever that is. So like offering that to them to let them support you because they want to support you if they're good people and uh, you know, pretty much they all are, right? So your follicular phase is approximately days 6 through 14. So like the end of, coming into the end of your menstruation. It's basically when that estrogen starts to rise, your FSH. That's why it's called that, the follicular phase. Follicular stimulating hormone. This is a hormone that's coming from the brain going to the ovaries, and it's telling this little guy right here to develop. So it's developing what's called the follicle and maturing it so that it can release on ovulation, release that egg. When the luteinizing hormone comes in and goes, boop, pop that thing open, and there it goes. So during the follicular phase, estrogen, look at that. She's rising. She's coming up pretty high. Also, this is why towards the end of the follicular phase, right before ovulation, you can start to have symptoms if your estrogen is getting too high. And sometimes you'll have almost PMS-like symptoms, usually not as extreme, but you might have a little bit of cramping. You might even have a little bit of spotting when it does actually ovulate. You might have a little bit of spotting on the day that you ovulate. Temperature tends to go up, but I'm getting ahead of myself. So we'll talk about ovulation next. All right. So estrogen and FSH are rising. Energy, creativity, confidence, all of these things tend to increase. Your brain sharpens, your mood lifts, your motivation returns. So you might have felt a little tired, a little unmotivated, a little like blah. And then as these things start to rise, you start to feel better and your mental clarity comes back and you start to feel more motivated to like get out there and do things and try new things. So this is a great time to take advantage of that energy. So it's time to grow, time to plan, time to take action. So what's happening? Estrogen is building, supports the egg maturation right here. Testosterone, again, not on this chart. Big miss. Testosterone is also a female hormone. This testosterone starts to rise. This increases strength, libido, and motivation, correlates nicely with ovulation. We need that drive in order to want to even have sex to, get pregnant, right? So it's a really great time to take advantage of this though, because you have more of that, a little bit more of that masculine energy, and you also have that building property too. Estrogen is anabolic, so is testosterone. This is a great time to build muscle, a great time to go after it in the gym, and you typically don't need as much rest between sets because you're able to recover a lot faster. So take advantage of it. Your brain is primed for focus and learning. So it's a great time to try those new things, to start those new projects. And then metabolism is slightly slower. And you might kind of notice that you're like, oh, I feel a little full. You might get a little bit more bloated. So what we do is we go for lighter meals that will probably feel a little bit better. Things like salads, chicken, lower fat, and still focused on complex carbohydrates always, because we never want to, hit the system too hard with a lot of simple sugars. That's not beneficial. But combining meals in a healthy way, making sure you have a good balance of protein, healthy fats, and complex carbohydrates and fiber, you'll be fine. So in our meal plan, which we'll talk about here towards the end, I'll pull that up. You have an example of all of these foods. So we like cruciferous vegetables, especially cruciferous vegetables, because these actually help to detox the liver. So you notice that during this time, your estrogen is rising. It's great, but we don't want the estrogen to get too high or to hang around for too long. And one of the things that helps to detoxify the body from excess estrogen is our liver. It's like the primary organ that's really responsible for that. So, supporting the detoxification process, making sure our bowels are moving regularly, nice, at least one soft bowel movement a day. If you are not doing that, that is abnormal, even if it is your normal. So I've had some women fight me on that, especially with thyroid disorders like low thyroid. And they'll be like, "Oh, I only have a bowel movement a week." And that's normal for me. I'm like, it's normal for, like, that's what you do, but that's not healthy. Like, we're not supposed to be holding on to toxins in our bodies for that long. That's very unhealthy. So we should be having one soft regular bowel movement minimum per day. And then if you go farther on that end, that's a problem. If you get too constipated, that's a problem. Again, if you're having that issue, we need to talk about it. But eating in this fashion will help with transit time, and also really, really nutrient dense foods that your body needs to replenish its stores. You just had, a mass exodus of a lot of nutrition. Like the iron stores are usually down a little bit, your zinc, your magnesium, these types of things. So we want to make sure that we are replenishing these. Leafy greens, really good. Legumes, really great. Also a really great source of protein as well for the veggie, uh, veggie-based people. Flax, pumpkin seeds for estrogen balance. And again, we're going to talk about, we have a cheat sheet for you guys on the seeds and nuts that you can use during different phases to replenish your stores. We want to incorporate some fermented foods for gut support. Love yogurt for this reason. Yogurt is so fantastic, and it comes in non-dairy as well. So those of us who have an intolerance to dairy, it causes more inflammation in our bodies and we don't tolerate it as well. You can do coconut yogurt, you can do almond milk yogurt, you can do oat milk yogurt. I mean, we have like all the yogurts. We also have kimchi, we have kefir, we have fermented sauerkraut. So, and fermented pickles. These are the ones you're going to find usually in the health food section of the store, and they're refrigerated, not the ones that are on the shelf. The ones that are on the shelf, those are dead. So if we're looking for fermented kimchi, sauerkraut, pickles, they're refrigerated. You got to keep them refrigerated. Lean protein is really great. So we're kind of going more for like that chicken, maybe some lean pork, very lean beef. If you want to incorporate that, we usually use more beef towards the end of the cycle when we need a bigger replenishment of healthy fats and omega-3s from grass-fed beef. And also iron is really great there too. And then lean fish is also a really great time to incorporate that. So like some, walnut crusted cod or something, be delicious. Sprouted grains are fantastic. Fresh herbs are always good the entire time, all month long. And again, we'll talk about that full meal plan and recipes in Practice Better here in just a moment. All right, movement goals. It's a great time to rebuild and explore. So your energy is rising. Absolutely want to prioritize strength training at least twice a week, total body. I've got some girls who are working towards like their first half marathon. That is fantastic. I support that 100%, but we want to make sure that we're not just running. and ignoring our strength training, you're going to be more prone to injury, not just in the long term, but also in the short term, like for your race, and overtraining. So, which is kind of weird, right? Because you're like, well, I'm running so much. But if you balance it with strength training, and I'm talking like 45 minutes, go hard in the gym, and then you're done twice a week, full body, it will actually prevent overtraining because it's going to help rebalance out your body. Running is very repetitive, like you're just forward, all forward movement. So if we can get some other types of movement and strengthen, especially your legs and your quads and your glutes, all the things, right? It's only going to help you to be a better runner or whatever other activity that you like to do. So bare minimum twice a week if you really hate it. And you're like, I just need the lowest dose possible to get the effect, Nicole. That's what I would say. Just twice a week is effective and it will get the job done, especially if you have other things that you have obligations to. For example, I was training 6 days a week during the winter. I cannot keep that pace up now that it is spring and coming into summertime because I'm so heavily physically active on the weekends and I'm done for. So I'm gonna reprioritize my strength training too, and I'm gonna do twice a week, which is hard for me. But at the same time, I've done it before and I don't lose any ground. In fact, I tend to gain ground. So it's not a bad thing to have seasons where you actually do, and just like within the month, you have kind of like your monthly season that you go through. Right now, this follicular phase is like your spring, your internal spring. The menstrual phase was your winter time, which is like your quiet downtime. Same thing, but in your life too. Like it can apply there too. So you have travel seasons, you have busy seasons, you have down seasons, where you have a little bit more free time to focus on other things. So when you do, you switch up your training, and that's totally normal. So those of you who are in the Strong and Nourished program or the membership program, we definitely work with you in there to change up your training and based on your feedback and your life and what's going on. So I do that for you, and I just program it into Train Heroic, your little app that you can pull up, and it just goes through and shows you. I'll show you an example because we got a couple ladies in here who are not in that program. So I'm going to pull up mine. So you've got your program on here, and you just go through and you start your training, and it's going to walk you through. Like that's what it looks like when you go in to actually log your workouts, and it keeps track of it for you. And it sends me a notification so I know what's going on. I can chat with you in there and help you stay motivated. So it's freaking fantastic. I use it on myself, guys. Like it's so important to keep accountable, right? So, and this is a great time to try something new, like try dancing, hiking, cycling, something that you're like, oh, like I've been wanting to try that class over there at that new place that just opened. There's a new Pilates place over in Kennewick. I really want to go try a class. This is a great time to do that. Like it's aligned with your energy at this time. If you're doing well and taking care of yourself, great time to go do that. You will notice though that if you don't feel very energized, and I gotta admit, like I just came out of my follicular phase and I'm actually kind of in my ovulatory window right now, probably actually after the ovulation, but I was not feeling that way at all. I was not feeling energized. I was not feeling motivated. I was not feeling energetic. And, and I was like, I love that I'm actually redoing this program right now with you guys because taking a hard look at myself going, Nicole, you know better. You know better. But that's okay. Again, I have the tools and I can recognize the signs. And that way I don't get 3, 6, 12 months down the road and I am wrecked and I have no idea why. And I'm always tired. I was there. I was 1,000% there for years. So tired, it was probably dangerous for me to drive home at 3 o'clock in the afternoon. That shouldn't be a thing. That's extreme. But I lived there for a very long time. And it was because I was just pushing and pushing and pushing and pushing. And we're not small men. We are not small men. We are on this beautiful synchronized rhythm every month that if we do not honor, it will kick us in the butt. So it is listening to our bodies. Again, so very important. When we do that, holy crap, feels so much better. So I'm gonna take care of myself better this month. Probably gonna have to take another month because it's just crazy right now. Life is crazy right now, guys. Not gonna lie, but I'm glad to be here with you. All right, so mindset and energy management. We want to lean into growth. Your brain is primed for new ideas, focus, creativity. So that still comes up for me, but maybe that's just an entrepreneurial brain, always trying to like fix things and like create new things and overfill the plate. But this is a great time for planning, goal setting, and starting new projects. Going back on that too, like if we didn't take that time during the menstrual phase to take that downtime and reflect and go, what worked last month? Where do I want to go this month? And you don't take that time to reflect, you just keep going, 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 and no introspection, you're gonna end up overloading your plate. You're gonna end up in chronic fatigue. You're gonna end up with hormonal imbalances. It makes sense. It does. So we need to recognize that. And again, like I'm recognizing for myself this month, I pushed too hard. I went too hard through times when I should have been pulling back and letting myself have that recovery time. And now I'm paying the price for that. And as we get older and we go through perimenopause, we do not have the capacity to keep pushing like we used to before. Before, like my husband and I were talking about that. We're watching a Blue Mountain State, which is pretty raunchy, so just be forewarned. But just being able to like go hard and then still get up the next morning, go to practice or go to work, whatever. Like I used to work at Starbucks and I'd open the store at 5 a.m. and I had maybe 4 hours of sleep, and this is like in my early 20s, right? So you have capacity to recover a lot faster. We don't have that capacity anymore. We cannot abuse our bodies like that. We shouldn't have to begin with, but we did, whatever. Youth is wasted on the young. But being able to recognize that now and again, turn the rudder, get the ship righted again, because that's what we're constantly doing. We're always, back and forth and going like this. So it's very, very normal. So we want to use this phase to try to explore and experiment and to not be perfect. That's not the goal here, is to be perfect. You want to guard your energy, say yes to what excites you, but make sure you say no to what drains you. Because again, if you continue to say yes to everything, every yes is a no to something else. So always remember that. If you say yes to someone else, you're saying no to something that you need. That is necessary for you to be your best self, maybe a self-care or a project that you're working on, you're really passionate about. So keep that in mind. So your journal prompt idea, and you have more journal prompts that we'll talk about. Where can I channel this energy for growth? All right, so your weekly challenge, try at least one new recipe. Again, if you want to do the entire thing, there goes my desk. It's freaking out. And do one new movement session. Try something new. Do Pilates. Do that pole dancing class, girl. Come on. Do the flow. Do the yoga, the hot yoga, or something like that. You're able to tolerate a little bit more excitement, and your body is able to recover a little bit more right now. So give it a shot during your follicular phase. Definitely use the journal prompts for this phase. Again, introspection and thinking about where you're at is super, super key to this entire process. We're getting in touch with our bodies again and learning to trust her, because you know what? Her wisdom is spot on. Check in with your energy and celebrate your growth, and absolutely celebrate in the comments and in the chat. So, some questions for you, ladies. What is coming up for you? And what questions do you have about the phases, and what surprises you about this? And then, do you have any questions about the food, the workouts, the mindset, or anything like that? And then if you want support, if you want to do more coaching, if you need anything, of course, you always let me know. So next week, we're going to talk about ovulation, radiate, and connect. The replay will be posted after the call here. We're going to have it kind of cleaned up a little bit. Make sure that we get straight to the point, so you're not sitting there going, when does this thing start? And because I do get on early, so I want to make sure I'm here before you guys. So we'll cut to the chase. And then the next live, check your Practice Better dashboard for the schedule on that. And then just keep showing up and doing what works, doing the work. That's what matters. You're here for you, and that's the most important thing. Reminder to check the chat and stay connected in there. And then our closing affirmation, I embrace new energy and show up for myself with curiosity and courage. You are blooming, and I am so proud of you. All right, so let's take a look at our meal plan. So again, we can just pick out the ones that we want. I also did a Loom video on this too, so I won't go into too much detail here. But remember, you can pick out the ones you want, or you can download the whole thing. You also have access to this guy right here, which is the prep guide for the follicular phase. Remember, if you change anything in the meal plan, then this will be different as well. You'll have to change that. And then we have the movement guide here. So make sure you take a look at that. We have your journal prompts. Use those for sure. And then this is your bonus, cycle syncing with seeds and nuts. So again, we talked about how this is really, really important to balancing your hormones and replenishing those stores. So the follicular phase, pumpkin seeds are great, rich in zinc to support healthy follicular development. Flax seeds contain ligands that help modulate estrogen levels naturally. Add these to smoothies, yogurts, energy bites, or sprinkle onto your salad. And again, just 1 to 2 tablespoons a day is plenty enough. And do keep in mind that these are very calorie dense, obviously, but they're very nutrient dense as well. So they're really great to incorporate. So we don't want to have like giant handfuls of them, but a little bit goes a long way. And it has some other tips down here too. So it goes through every single of the phases. So this is your little cheat sheet, and you can like print this out, put it up on your fridge so you can keep it in mind. And that's also incorporated in the meal plan. So you'll notice here that we've got flax and pumpkin seed mixture that comes along with this raspberry overnight oats, and other things, the nut butters, almond butters, things like that. And then healthy fats that are within tahini salad that has sesame seeds. Tahini is ground up sesame seeds. Can be really, really delicious. So, all right, ladies, that is all I have for you today. I hope that everything is going well and you're enjoying this process as much as I am. I am getting back into it myself and remembering, oh yeah, I felt so good when I actually paid attention to this. So this is might be more for me than it is for you, but I really hope it's helping you. Again, let me know if you have any questions. Share your wins in the group chat. Share your questions. If you have a question, I'm sure somebody else does too. And I really, really want to express my gratitude for all of you being here and participating in this program, for yourself, but also for those other women that I'll be able to help with this program because of your feedback and helping me to make this the best that I possibly can. All right, ladies, have a wonderful rest of your week, and I will see you next week.